Day 2 update on the Integra. I had to spray the hood latch down because it was not hood latching. This thing is very stuck, very rusted, so I had to spray that with some PB Blaster. Got some new tires for the blades. I'm gonna put those wheels on. I had to leave it like this last night, sitting on sitting on some spares that I found, almost touching the ground but not quite. So we're gonna get this thing up on some tires and wheels and rolling. Last night I found out that the brake lights were staying on, so doing a quick search, looks like it's probably the brake switch sensor on the back of the brake pedal, top of the brake pedal, which is pretty common. So I'm gonna try to stick a dime on there, and that way it pushes it down, and hopefully that helps that situation. And then we'll get everything situated, and I'll update you guys here a little bit later. There's a few things wrong with the car, obviously, other than it just being sitting here and getting, you know, unused. One of them is this right here, which is pretty common. It came loose. It didn't have a lug nut on it, obviously, so that's good. Everything else is good. There was only one missing out of the entire 4 wheels. So that, and along with this, a busted handle, which is not really that big a deal. I'll get a new one. Unfortunately, just the handle itself is like $50 fucking, which is crazy, but you know, it is what it is. We'll get that fixed up. I'm also gonna probably put extended studs on here, so I'll show everybody how to do that at a later date once I get all this like stuff cleaned up and pull the spindles off and all that. And I'll do that, and I'll show everybody how to put in extended wheel studs and probably some steel braided brake lines at the time, because I do want to bleed all of the brakes out and get all the old crappy brake fluid out of there. So stay tuned for that. Getting a little air show out here while I'm working. So one thing I did notice while I was down here is that I kept seeing this like rubber something here, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was until I figured out that it's the bushings for the upper control arm. Like, there is no bushings in those at all now, no rubber at all. It's just the metal on metal ringlets. They're just completely corroded and gone. And so you can see there the metal inside, and the bushing is like right here. So that's gonna suck. Definitely I'm gonna have to replace those. That should have been definitely something that should not have worn out. If that was the OEM part, that would not have happened. But they put this you know, these aftermarket control arms on here, which I don't know what brand they are, but obviously not that good. So definitely have to replace those. So upon inspection, both of them are messed up. So the clutch switch and the brake switch. So I'm gonna try to flip this camera around here in a second. I actually had the piece in my hand, but I think I threw it, or not really threw it, but just like tossed it, because I didn't think about making a video of it. Of course, here's some pieces of what the clutch one was. So it's like a little flat disc that pops onto the top of the clutch like arm, for like when you press the pedal. This is attached to the arm. There's a little flat spot up there that this little bushing sits in, and it depresses when the clutch is up all the way and not pushed down. It depresses a little switch, and that's like a kill switch. So that's why you have to push the clutch down to start a manual car. If that little sensor up there is not, if it is pushed in, it won't let you start the car. And you have to bypass that, like if you have like a manual car, so you can do like an automatic start like on your alarm and things like that. but the brake is the same way. So for the brake, it's got a little nipple that pokes out, and it depresses a little switch, and that switch, when it is depressed, that's what turns off the brake lights. And then when you hit the brake pedal, it connects that signal, and then it turns on the brake lights. So because that nipple is gone right now and it's not depressing the switch itself, it's not, the brake lights are staying on. So I couldn't have that obviously overnight, so I disconnected the battery. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this camera around, I'll show you, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape a dime to the flat spot, so that way it pushes the little sensor down itself, so that way it turns off the brake lights. And then really after that, really that's like all I really need to do, aside from getting the doors to work, or the windows, which I'm guessing probably they're not working because they're probably frozen. It's typical. The car's been sitting here for 6 years, getting rained on. Things get frozen like that. So after a while, things like that start working again, and sometimes they don't, and you just have to replace them. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll show you guys that here in a second. All right, so up underneath here, there's a little switch right there. You can see the little silver base of it with the sensor plugged in, and then the arm right there for the brake pedal. It goes up, and there's a little bitty black head on that sensor, and because of that not being pushed down, that is making the brake lights stay on. So what I got to do is I got to put something on that little flat spot to push that little black head into that sensor, and then that disconnects the signal, and then the brake lights will continue to work like they should. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I have electrical taped a little dime onto that, which probably gonna have to redo, obviously, but right now it's just a temporary fix. I'll probably like clean that up real good and then super glue it, but as of right now, that's really all we can do while I'm here. So that's what I'm going to do. If you guys have the same issue, definitely check that out, and you know, rig it up if you need to, because you're probably never going to find a bushing for that, and if you do, it's probably broken, or it will break when you take it out. So just keep that in mind. This is pretty much the fix that you will find. Here she is, folded out. Can't get the hood latch to work, so kind of sketchy right now, but got it pulled out, got the bumper somewhat put up, one little dent, pulled it out, turned it around, so it drives, and even without the bushings in the front. The brake lights are still on because the dime thing fell off, and I'll need to super glue it and kind of redo that. Only really body damage here, there's a little bit of rust and these scrapes, but it's just kind of superficial. There's no like dent there, so as soon as all that gets, you know, worked out, I guess there's like maybe a little dent right there, but I mean, that's really minute. I mean, you can't even really see it. But yeah, it's like this greenish brown color, I guess. I don't know, but interior is complete. You know, a little you know, mishap right here. Dash is like perfect. Everything works in it now except for the windows still. Seat is obviously, you know, torn up, but you know, we'll get all this cleaned up, like looking real good. All the interior is there, nothing is missing. So there's my dime with the tape on it. It fell off and it was like sitting down there. As soon as I hit the brakes, it fell down. So we'll fix that. But yeah, we're right now we're looking really good. AC or the heating and cooling unit works, so the fan works. Obviously there's just no AC in it yet because there's no condenser. So but yeah, it's running, sounds good, and we'll keep going from here. Solved the taillight problem. So what I did was, one of the little plastic clips that has like the little spreaders on the back of it that would go in like an interior panel, I found one of those on the floor and I took the centerpiece out of it and I stuck it in the hole of the arm there, and then I put the little centerpiece back in it, and boom, like, works perfect, and it even stays in there. So for all you guys that don't want to like glue a dime to it, or you can't figure out what to do, take one of the interior clips that's got the little 3 prongs on it, the little small ones, put that through the hole, and then put the plastic screw that goes in it to expand it, put that inside there, and then that little plastic screw is what depresses the sensor, and boom, works like a charm. So taillights are off. Yeah, that was pretty awesome that I found that. So taillights are off. So awesome. I need to get this part of my fender put up now, and I didn't have a nut. So what I did was I took this nut out of the radiator, just busted out one of the little things, one of the nuts, and then I found this bolt that I'm going to use. It's got a big washer on it, and I'm going to use this big washer on the other side, and that way I can put up that fender, because obviously the old stuff is all broken and not good anymore. So I'm going to put that up, and really that's about it for now. And then I'm going to get this something else crazy. This car's been sitting for that long, and look what still works. Yes, an actual trunk that the trunk lifts still work. That is amazing. I don't know if you people know exactly what that's all about, but that's pretty amazing. I'm very happy about that.